Fox News alert, Pam Bondi's coming down hard on the resistance. The DOJ just slapped charges on New York Governor Kathy Hochul and Attorney General Tish James for protecting illegals from federal law enforcement.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me.
And now we're learning Hochul's canceled a trip to the White House that was supposed to take place tomorrow. New York is handing out driver's license to illegals and then blocking ICE from accessing their database. And Bondi's making an example out of them.
New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. They're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background, they have no idea who they're dealing with. If you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready.
This isn't revenge. It just so happens that the people who have weaponized the government against Trump are also the ones breaking the law. And we didn't have to make up this law. This law is on the books. And relax, MSNBC. They're not trying to throw Tish James in jail or bankrupt her. This isn't a civil or even criminal case. They just want her to do her job and protect American citizens over illegal aliens. George Washington law professor and constitutional law attorney Jonathan Turley is here. So this is really Tish James in court with the feds now for the rest of the year, at least, because she's been breaking the law and sabotaging the federal effort to go get these aliens out of here?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting fight, and there's nothing subtle about this. This is sort of smash mouth litigation saying, you know, we're at odds and we're going to have to resolve this in the courts. This is part of a general move by the Trump administration to go ahead and get these fights going. You know, they want to establish the rules. And President Trump has said, look, I'll comply with court orders that go against me. I'll appeal them, but we want judicial review. So this is an important step to try to establish what the rules here really are. One of the interesting aspects about the case against New York is that its law has a provision that is called a tip-off provision, so that an unlawful immigrant is told whether the federal authorities have inquired about your status. And the federal officials are saying, well, what gives with that? You know, you're basically giving a tip-off to someone that we're trying to apprehend.
They have an illegal alien tip line here, so the feds can't find these guys? Is that what you're telling me? So let me get this straight. You have a Biden migrant, breaks into the country, gets released into the country, commits crimes, okay, gets out, they don't do anything, gets a driver's license. And all the feds want to do is go inside the database to see where these people live, get their license, get their address, and they're blocking them from that. And then if they try to access it, they call the migrant and say the ICE is on their back?
Yeah, the important distinction there, Jesse, is that there's a line of cases in the Supreme Court called anti-commandeering cases. And in those cases, which rest on states' rights, the court has said, look, you can't require the state to carry out federal functions and federal policies. But that tip-off provision is an active effort that works against federal enforcement. And that may make that provision distinct in the eyes of the court. So all of this has got to shake out in the courts. But at the same time, it's important for Congress to focus on grants and funding of cities and states. There is no reason, in my view, why the federal government has to give grants to jurisdictions that are actively undermining federal efforts. And that will also have to be litigated. But they need to press on both fronts, and I think they are.
All right. Well, it's interesting to see Tish James on her heels. Jonathan Turley, thank you so much. A constitutional scholar.
Thank you.
What a beautiful resume.